to my channel. So today I'll be showing you guys how to make this a different way of making a senator shirt, and this is going to be a long one, almost below the knee with a slit on the side. But I already have videos on how to make this. I just want to clarify some things based on the questions I was getting on my previous videos. So all I did here is, okay, you're going to get your bust, the chest measurement, right? You're going to divide it by 4, and then you're going to add 2 inches to it. So that's how I got my first panel, which is the front one. I went ahead and cut this out because of how I'm going to be placing this design here. This dashiki design is going to be at the center. So I figured instead of doing it here, I did it off camera. So, but how I got my width here is just your chest measurement divided by 4 plus 2. So that's how I got this here. And then I measured my the length I'm working with, right? So the length I'm working with is 40. I added 1 inch to it. That's 41. So that 1 inch is going to be part of my seam allowance for folding the end. So the same front panel, I used it. I placed it here. Right, I placed it on the back panel. The difference between the front and the back panel is that for the back panel I have extra 4 inches at the top here. This 4 inches I'm going to use it to fold the top part of. I already have a video on this particular method too, but not exactly like this. I mean, when I say this method, I mean the method where you have the 4 inches here. So someone was asking me why I do put this 4 inches here, and sometimes on other shirts I just attach it on the shoulder. Sometimes I just bring it forward. It's just the same thing as like when you see some shirts, they have the seam almost at the front. Let's say this is your shoulder. Some of them, their seam come down here. I'm going to insert a picture of it here, and then some of them, their seams are right on top of your shoulder. So it depends on you, whichever method you want to use. If you want, you can just attach it on the shoulder. If you want, you can just give it this look of bringing it forward here. It's just the same thing. Sometimes some shirts, they have yoke at the back. Some t-shirts have yoke at the back, sometimes they don't have. So there's no particular reason for me, but I find that this particular method, it gives your shirt a better fitting than when you attach it right on the shoulder. So the next thing I'm going to do now is, okay, so now I have the 4 inches here. So what I have to do is I have the 4 inches right on top here. So I'm going to pull the front panel up again so that it will meet up with the line of the back panel, right? So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to come up here and mark maybe 2 inches or 1.5 depending on the size you're working with. So I'm working with someone that is quite small. I'm going to just use 1.5. But if you're working with like a normal size, you can use 1.2. You can use 2 inches, or if it's like XXL, you can use like 2.5 depending on the size of the person. So this 1.5, I just came down here. This is normally for the shoulder slope. The other shirt that I made, I'm going to insert the link. I didn't do this method first. I'm just going to insert the link so I don't confuse you guys, because if I keep referring back to it, it might start getting confusing. So I came down here by 1.5 inch. I'm going to just connect it up here, and then I'm going to just mark it like a straight line. If you have a ruler, that's better. Just connect a straight line from that 1.5 you came down up to this point here, and then you're going to cut that out. So guys, I've gone ahead and cut that out. I'm going to now pull down this front panel down to the same length as the back panel. You see what I'm trying to do here? Because I'm trying to make sure that the design of my shirt is the same. So I want this line to be here. That's why I cut out from the top parts when I was trying to reduce the length, right? I cut it out from here. So the next thing I'm going to do now is this. After cutting it out, you see it's slant here and it's also slant here. What I'm going to do now is to place this way, like half an inch that you're going to join this side to this side. You're just going to fold it down, right? You're going to fold it down. Just make sure that you place it correctly, and then So guys, when you fold it, you're going to just leave half an inch on the front fabric, and half an inch of this is going to flap over, and then you're going to fold it this way. You see how this part is, some of the fabric came out on this end. So what you're going to do now is you're going to start placing your shoulder measurement, because now you already have this shoulder slant. You're just going to place your shoulder measurement. If you want to compare the two videos, just click on the link. You will see my previous video. It's the same, almost the same method, but not really. So the shoulder measurement, I'm now starting to put my measurements in. So I'm going to start with the shoulder. So guys, the shoulder I'm working with here is 17 divided by 2. That's going to be 8.5. So I'm going to just mark that here. And then I'm going to come down and mark my armhole. So the armhole I'm working with here is 20. I'm going to divide it by 2. So that's 10. I'm going to mark that here. So make sure that you have that same 8.5 here, which is my shoulder measurement. I'm going to make sure I transfer it so I don't make any mistake. I'm going to connect the two lines together. And then just connect it. And then I'm going to give my armhole curve here, and then the next thing is I'm going to come in by half an inch here, and then curve it in, and then slant it out all the way, right? So you see I've marked that here now. So I came in by half an inch for my front panel. So the next thing I'm going to do now is on the neckline, I'm going to come in by 2.5 by 2.5 this way, and then I'm going to come down by 4.5 this way. Let me tell you, if you when you're done, if you calculate this same thing, it's going to still give you that 3 by 3 that I used on the other video. So it always comes down to the same thing. But if you find that maybe you measure the person's neck and you find that maybe the width you're working with, let's say you measure that the neck is like 17 inches, right? So let me give it my curve first. And then you measure all the way around. And then you find out that you measure round here, and then you're also going to take it back here. And you measure and you find that it's not up to what you need. You can always just extend it a little bit down here, and then you measure it again. But remember, whatever you get on this side, whatever you get, like if you check it this way, all the way round, remember, don't forget to come to the back here, and then you multiply it by 2 because it's on 2 sides. That's supposed to give you round the person's neck, right? If it's not up to what you want, then you can increase it. If it's more than what you want, then you can just, instead of 4.5 of length, you can easily just come up a little bit and reduce it, right? So now all I have to do is to start cutting. I'm just going to cut it this way first. Remember, 2.5 by 4.5 here, and then the next thing I'm going to come down here. I'm going to come down here. You see, that's it for the back neckline. So now I'm going to cut out on the front neckline separately, and then just follow that same line and cut that out. So this is it right here. This is going to be my neckline. I'm going to go ahead and cut out the shoulder. So you see, I'm going to start like this, and then I'm going to cut this out. So guys, as you can see, I went ahead and chipped out for my front neckline. So what I'm going to do is to notch this shoulder, right? So that I don't make mistakes. So I've notched it now, and then so that when I go to sew, so how I'm going to join this is just, I'll open it up this way, right? Since I already know where my notch is, I'm just going to open it up this way, take my back neckline, join it. You know how you normally join your shoulder, just join it this way, make a stitch on it, open up this side, also make a stitch on it, right? So guys, remember the fold of this fabric is what we're using. The chest is what we're using for the length, the width. So that's going to be the width I'm using continuously to the end. That's why I didn't say maybe remove from the waist, remove from the hip. I already determined the width I'm using when I folded my fabric into 4, and then divided my chest measurement by 4 plus extra 2 inches. So that's the width I'm using all the way down. So another thing I also want to correct is the sleeve. because someone was asking me, okay, what of after when you use the armhole to cut the sleeve, sometimes it doesn't match up with the armhole and then it stops halfway. That's because remember, your armhole is the armhole that we used to mark this is like 20, right? But remember, it's supposed to curve in this way and there's still seam allowance on your top, so you can't move directly with that armhole you got from the top to the when you're cutting the sleeve and put it immediately. So you have to measure it round now, you see, because if I use that 20 divided by 2, that's 10, and that's here, right? That's my armhole. If I transfer that 10 on my sleeve, my sleeve width is going to stop somewhere here, so I'm still left with this here. But if you measure it this way, like you start from here, you move your tape all the way around, right? And then you know what you're working with. So I'm working with 12.5. So this 12.5 now is what I'm going to use as my new armhole. So that's what I'm going to transfer to my sleeve, so that way whatever I cut will be able to cover all the way down to this point. So guys, this is now my armhole. So you see this fabric is folded into 2 here, right? It's folded into 2, 1 for each sleeve. So if you measure it this way, I transferred that 12.5 to here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come down by around around 4.5 down here. So I'm going to mark a line from that end to this point here, right? A straight line, and then find the midway, which is 13.5 is what I have with this line. So half of that is going to be somewhere around this 6 point, maybe 6.75, somewhere here. I'm going to now give it half moon shape here, and then another half moon shape up, you see. So that's basically it. I'm going to cut out this top part here. I'm going to measure out my sleeve cuff. You see, my sleeve cuff is going to be, so guys, this is what my sleeve looks like. I also notched it. So now I'm going to go ahead and join the shoulder so I can show you guys. So guys, as you can see, I've gone ahead and joined the shoulder. Although you can't see the seam line, but I'm going to open it so you guys can see it. You see, this is it here. So basically I joined it here, and then I joined it on the 2 sides, closed it this way because I know where I notched it. So I went ahead and ironed it using that notch as my mark, and then also remembering that my fabric is supposed to be the same length at the end. So and then it also matches the notch here. So I ironed it down. As you can see, I made sure that the seam is facing down. It's facing this way. You see, my seam is facing down this way. If you want, sometimes people use like top stitch it here. If you want, you can do that also. If you want, you can leave it the way here. Go ahead, put in your placket. I'll link a video on how to put in the placket. I've already done that before. And then I put in my sleeve. So this is what the design looks like. This is the body here. So I'm still going to go ahead and fold up this side, and then as you can see, I've also folded the end here. So that's basically it for this. This is the back, right? And then I used bias. Let me move it this way. I also used bias to finish up the neckline. So this is it. I'm going to just put a pressing button in here, and that's basically it. So thank you guys so much for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe. Bye.